Hello, everyone. Welcome. Simulation Talk 312. Hope everybody are doing well. Oh, important people. How are you? Leben, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Jackie's in the house. Yoni. What up, Jesus Christ is King? Don't forget to check. Thank you so much, Guru. I appreciate you. Let's also set up the website here real quick. CodeReality.com. Thank you so much for that. There we go. That's a normal size. Also here, gonna 312 Discord. Discord. Oh, what's happening? There we go. All right. Here we go. Open the stage on Discord. If you guys want to join, feel free to join. Various softwares. Parker. What up, everyone? Welcome, everybody on TikTok. Okay. Golly J is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Jules, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Real Spirituals in the house. Good to see you. Muse. AJ Fortune. Dude, Stylebender, the one and the only, liked my reel today. I feel very accomplished. I don't know. That's really, really cool. Israel Adesanya liked my reel. I felt very, very cool. Easy. Bro, I swear I always go for a walk when you do a live. What up, Miller? I mean, that's a good coincidence, I would say. Jay, how you doing? I mean, it's around the similar time, so it does make sense. Took the hour for a check-in over rice. Nice. Now with 20 minutes, go to. I'm gonna rip a dart. I'll be around when it begins. You got it. Oh, I don't know if you're still around, but welcome. All right. I've been really good upside vision. Wait, upside vision. Tom, is that you? Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Tom Matt, everybody. You guys should check out my interview with Tom Matt and check out his channel, Upside Vision. I have a wonderful interview with him in my channel, Dango Thoughts. Tom Matt, Matte. Find our conversation together. He has a very interesting story that I highly recommend you guys check out. So good to see you, my man. Okay, so let's see. Busy times indeed. I'm glad to hear that you're busy. Actually, we should probably catch up. It'll be fun to find out what you're doing. Okay, so let's as per the progress of what we're trying to do, which is maybe include a little bit more of the human component and what it means to be a human in this point in history and what it actually means for us. What up, Nicola? To move forward into whatever next step of our own evolution we're about to experience. And under the banner of this, I encourage more conversations about us, what it feels to be us. And, all conversations have to do with the human experience, basically. And it does not mean that we're not going to have more technical conversations and conversations that have to do with all the regular stuff we usually talk about: simulation, science, philosophy, God, spirituality, which, of course, all of these things are human endeavors and touch upon what the human experience is, but they're not as close to the human experience directly. So that's the thing that I want to encourage more than anything else. Even now, your stream number 312. I don't know what that means, but okay. What up, AJ? The purpose to find more love in your heart. I mean, I'm not against that. That's sounds definitely right. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Guru is our incredible moderator. Happy birthday, my man. How old are you today? What up, C bro? Happy birthday indeed. Man, that's exciting. Yoni is in the house. What is that? No way. Every time we talk about something substantial, oh, I don't want to unplug it. I think there's a tiny spider on the thing, and spiders are very symbolic, very cute. Yoni, anybody who comes on Discord, feel free to raise your hand, and I'll bring you up if you do. If in case you want to chat, I'm not gonna make you, of course, but I highly encourage it. Let's see if we can touch upon some things that people care about. 31. That's a great age. That is a great age. 31 is wonderful. What up, Jimmy Vaughn? Okay. So, do you guys have any questions and or subjects you want to raise on the subject of human experience? I'll give you an example. One great question that was asked a few days ago was, how do we keep balance and cool in the face of so much crazy information flowing online and people being at each other's throats? How do we keep that harmony? That's a good question, something to explore. So, do we have any questions of that kind? We appreciate you too, Guru. Oh, God just joined the chat. It's great. I'm going to take a picture of this. This is hilarious. That's perfect. What a handle. How is that not taken? That's what I wonder. How was the handle God not taken on pin notices? Oh, I don't know what that means. There's some new options in TikTok, and I'm afraid to touch them because it's like, there's all kinds of new things offering. What up, J user? Synergy. God joined is amazing. It's not like God number 645 or whatever. No, God. God, capital G. That's the handle. I got to give it to you. I don't know how you grabbed that one, but are you at work, Guru, or this is you're celebrating? So no work today. Ooh, what is that? What up, G? And Jesus Christ. That's quite the opposite. Whoa, what happened here? Thank you for still being on top of it, Guru. That's very cool. Bumbles. Eva. Is it Eva or how do you pronounce that? Welcome to the chat. All right, so if we don't have anybody raising any particular topic, we're just gonna flow. I think even though today is a pretty heavy day, I do feel that I see the light in the end of the tunnel, and I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty optimistic about the future of humanity. It seems that we are figuring it out, even if a lot of people committed to yell that we are doing terrible. I think these are last attempts at the old ways, trying to pull us back towards something that we really don't want to be a part of anymore. What up, Terry? So diplomatic. Something one. It's a great handle. In spite of all the madness, do you think we are evolving as a species? Yes, I actually think there's not as much madness as people think there is. I think there's just a lot of very, very loud people who would like you to believe so because they would like to believe so. Because to them, that's the only source of meaning that they found. They need things to be terrible so they can kind of, um, the world ending. This idea is a very meaningful event, right? It's almost like if nothing goes right for you. One second. Oh, you're good. If nothing goes right for you in this life, emotionally, at work, financially, whatever it is much easier to convince yourself that the reason for that is not that you didn't try hard enough or didn't put in the work or things like this. It's much easier to convince yourself that it's just the system is rigged, everything is terrible, and you're definitely not at fault. And at the same time, also it gives you a lot of meaning because you get to rah-rah around it. You get to run around and join other groups of people who think the same way. And of course, where our attention goes, that's where reality goes. So if everybody believes that's the case, I mean, nobody's going to be trying to do anything. Luckily, I think that the people that are still very capable people in this world are going strong, and they're the majority of people. They're just not as loud. So we are absolutely evolving as a species. And in fact, the idea that we're not, I think, is these also part of these attempts to kind of bring us down a notch and trying to convince us that with everything we've done is just terrible, all that stuff. So that's my position on that. I think we're absolutely evolving. Let's see. I agree. I think we will see rapid movement over the next 6 months for humanity. Oh yeah. This is going to be really, really fast. Now it's going to be basically just kind of like unraveling really, really quickly. By mid 2026, we will see new world emerging for all mankind. Couldn't agree more. See the same thing happening. What up, April? Infinity loop. Not sure what you mean by that, Jackie, but if you want to clarify, I would love to touch it. Charlie, how are you, brother? Humans are awesome indeed. Couldn't agree more, Yoni. What up, Terry? Do you know anyone who has remote viewed the core? No, I do not know anyone. If you know someone, please let me know. There is no end. Sure, of course there is no end. Oh, you mean like in terms of the end of the world? Well, yeah. I mean, it just keeps going. Of course, absolutely, I agree. What is your take on biblical stories and their accuracy? If someone today resurrected and 500 people said they saw it, people today would ask for proof. Yet these stories still hold water. Yeah, this is a very deep discussion, and it touches upon basically every aspect of both our current stage of evolution and a lot of little things that you have to outline in terms of like how belief works and what is reasonable to accept. I think that I'll pass this time to talk about this particular subject simply because unpacking it takes a long time and it might be interesting. We've done this in quite a few lives pretty recently. I will only say that I had to reassess everything I thought I understood about that when I faced certain kind of information. And that information was not based on me deducting things or thinking about it rationally. I just presented it directly. And considering the fact that the same source that was presenting this information to me is the same source that was presenting everything else to me that checked out in other ways, if I want to stay consistent, I have to take this at least on board, if not accept it to the extent that I accept things as truth. And under that banner, I would say that a lot of what you read in the Bible is actually correct, which is bananas to me. It's crazy, but it seems to be the case. But maybe we'll go deeper into this at some point, just simply not today. As I've spoken on more podcasts, more people are coming forward to claim to have upside vision to one degree or another. It seems to be either accelerating or more people are tuning into it. And would you say, Tom, that from what you've heard from people, them describing it, is this something that matches your experience? Or because you told me before that very often people would tell you this, and after talking to them, you would realize what they have is not upside. So would you say that in these cases, a lot of cases, they are upside? What is the first thing you would change if you could understand it and edit the core? I don't know. I don't think of it like that. Like I don't think of things like what would I like to change. I think that what I'm paying more and more attention to is the natural flow of things, like how things are trying to evolve and then become part of that flow. And because of that, what I would like to change would be the last on my checklist. The question is, am I evolving? We have some great people here. Everybody should check out Embodied Men, the channel. How are you, brother? Colin, my man, how are you? Also, another great podcast that I've done. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I would say that is a big question as well. But I mean, to me, the question of is humanity evolving as a whole is also an important one. But it starts with how we feel about what's going on with us, for sure. How are you, hopeful Edmund? Good to see you, Carmelo. Jackie's saying, well, I think we exist for infinity, maybe not as ourselves. If the entities wipe out our memories and we become someone else, in the sense of we can't remember anything, but we might remember being in other places and being something or someone else that we can't remember now. Sure. So, I mean, that's plausible. Yoni saying, hard to explain, but ask and you shall receive, and some very uncanny proofs will emerge. But paradox, hard topics, yes. Thank you, Guru, for reminding everybody. Also, yes, let me put the website here. It's codeofreality.com. You guys can check out. Oh. Jackie is saying, well, that's just my opinion. I don't know for sure, but I believe that there's more to experience in life and we continue on forever. Again, no disagreements there. One guy, okay. Tom is saying, one guy seems to have it to my degree. Interesting. Did you have a full conversation with him on your show? On your channel? Okay, hope to catch up deeper discussion on the accuracy of the biblical story. You got it, brother. Thank you. We're planning on meeting in the distant future. He's got legal issues and lots of trauma, but he's saying the right thing. I know he's legit. Interesting. Good to see you too, brother. What up, Joshua? What up, Evil Icon? Oh, I love the new handle. That's really cool. Synergy is asking, what do you think of woohoo? Who's 21? Oh, nice. What do you think of energy free fall, 0 point grids? I've heard this, but curious. Yeah, can you ask a more specific question about that? Because what do you think about it is a little bit too general. What up, Dylan? Okay. I don't know if you get. So I'm actually gonna. Well, I'll leave it open. The Discord group I see, the Discord chat I see is empty. I might just close it because it might be not one of these days in which we're gonna be bringing anyone on. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Hopefully this will be fixed. Okay, great. Reach out to. Beautiful. Have you noticed any travel into the past during any of your time skips? Or is it always into the future? It's kind of like a loop. Like you go back to exactly where you were and then you continue from there. So I'm not sure if that clarifies it. Do you think it will become reality? You mean utilizing point energy? Is that what you mean? I think anything that is physically possible will become reality eventually, yes. So the only question is it actually physically possible? It might as well be. Have you read anything that Joseph Smith was saying about cosmology, deity in the 1800s? I know some general things that Joseph Smith said. Why does that pull your interest so much? Just curious. What up, Howdy Parker? Thank you so much for joining. Inters. What is inter? Oh, interessante. Man, I'm slow today. Yeah, that is Daniel. How are you, my brother? So good to see you. That is interesting. That and this is a disc. This Plessy. Again, you guys can just raise your hand if you want to chat. I know Daniel, for you it's a much later hour, but in any case, how are you, my man? Good to see you. Ghost is in the house. Good to see you, brother. JS was one of the first anti-creation X nihilo voices, many principles that track to modern physics. I would say no tracks that tracks to modern physics. If you want to that you think that does, we can talk about it. But I would make a bold claim that Joseph Smith made zero claims that tracks with physics. Maybe negative 10 claims that tracks with physics. Ancestor simulation. Some physicists say travel into the future is possible, but travel to the past is not. That's why I asked about time loops. I see. See, to me, this domain of exploration is a little bit too flimsy just because even if our experience on psychedelics is very strong in terms of what the scenarios that we experience, unless we can tie it to something else that we can do something with it physically, I'm not even beginning to kind of put stock in it. That's just how my brain works. Even if people are super convinced, even if it's super convincing to me, like a lot of the stuff they're showing me tracks perfectly and everything, but until the moment comes, the laser gives me some confidence that something works. But until the moment comes where I can substantiate some of these things, like actually, and like do something with them, until that moment comes, I'm not even beginning to move. Like people want to go, we're waiting. We're waiting until we can actually do something with it. That's how my brain works. So when it comes to connecting theoretical physics to personal experiences in psychedelics, I wouldn't say that I put a lot of stock in that. Doesn't mean that it can't track, but like I wouldn't do it. First, let's see. And one of the reasons for that is because essentially, if a time machine exists, it means that whatever tool was utilized to open world lines from that moment on makes sense. So you can travel. Actually, you can travel to the past. You can travel from that moment on, but you can't travel to a moment before that because there was no way. There was no way in existence until that moment to actually do that. So that's kind of like the logic there. Um, have I heard of the new Dan Brown book, The Secret of Secrets? It's about consciousness and how the brain is a receiver related to everything you discuss. It's a good read. Cool. Yeah, Dan Brown. I haven't heard of him about him in a while. What is it called? What was the biggest one? The biggest hit ever. What was it? With the when they were like running around in Rome and all of that. Forget what it was called. But again, these. I mean, obviously, I haven't read it, but these ideas of the brain being a receiver, they're, pretty old. There's not new ideas. To me, what's important now is not ideation, but substantiation. So for me, the experimentation is the most important thing, and I know to you as well, Tom. So, we're in the same boat there. Da Vinci Code. Thank you. There we go. Human first, indeed. I've experienced. What's interesting is that one of my biggest insights through my explorations, Tom, was actually that there is no secret. So, like I would say, the secret of all secrets is that there is no secret. Is that all of these ideas that people have about hidden realms and gatekeepers and all that stuff? This is all made up stuff by other beings that just decided to take it upon themselves to do that. But in reality, there are no gates. There are no secrets. It's just, do you understand? Do you understand or you don't understand? It's that simple. And it's a very salient truth that is instantiated very strongly in my body. The secret is that there is no secret. I have experienced future and past with mushrooms. Sounds legit. What up, the chord matrix? Oh, I forgot to mention, man, I should remember this. If you guys want to help us and follow on Twitch, it's LaserX83. LaserX83 on Twitch. It really helps. Time isn't linear and storylines change. Mandela effect style. So dates for certain events change, which means the future and past don't really matter. Maybe, and maybe not. We don't know. That's the short answer. If something is released and being new, the storyline can change, and suddenly it's been that way for 50 years, for example. But for you, it was a new thing. Yeah, but what you were missing is that the container problem. All of that will still be contained within some hyperstructure, superstructure beyond that. Otherwise, if it isn't, it has no integrity or coherent relationship to its own function. And without that, you just have complete chaos. The fact that you see anything that is coherent around you tells you that there is at least some pockets of reality that follow some rules for some time. And as long as that's the case, there is some form of progression that has to go in a particular order. So it is linear. Now it can branch out. You can have many possibilities at once. Nevertheless, certain possibilities can never follow until other possibilities arose. So in order for a human to have a thought, first it has to be a human. You can say, well, I can imagine that maybe there's some scenario in which there's a thought without a human. I think if you look at it closely, no, that just doesn't track. So you can say there's an arrangement of information that would be the same as if it was in a human that can exist in some other form that is not instantiated in a human, but that's not a human thought. So the point is that whatever we define as a human thought, instantiated in a human, experienced by this experience we call human experience, must follow first having a human. And these, what seems to be kind of like a tautology, is just like the most obvious thing you can think about. But it seems like we have to even point that out whenever you say, if you think that anything goes, then nothing goes. It either is complete chaos and nonsense, or if there's any order, the definition of order is that there's some rule set by which it works, and there's a certain progression to it that follows some step-by-step process, even if the step-by-step includes many other steps that existence itself can take. What is nothing? How is it used by human today? Nothing is nothing. Nothing is. That's one of the biggest, conundrums and philosophy. I think it's the one that really makes your head spin, because the second you said anything, automatically it is a nothing. And even you say, well, maybe I can create a symbol that points to an empty set. Does it? Because then you postulate something. The second that you postulate the container is already a something. And if you're saying nothing exists within that container, you already defined it to be something. The thing that would be actual nothing cannot have a symbol attached to it of any kind of pointing to it. It cannot occur even in theory, and definitely not in principle. And the differences between all the things that exist and the things that don't exist are complete, total, and ultimate. And again, this is one of these things that will make your head spin, and it will end up really nowhere. I don't think it actually would do any real work aside from making you very, very dizzy. Tyler, is that you? Good to see you, brother. Tom was saying, would you make the case that downloading an abstract concept like mathematical proofs would be proof to you, the Da Vinci Code? It would be proof that there's some real information existing. Yes. You're talking about in what way specifically? Yeah, if you can. So if you can do something that can be substantiated in our world in some way that is more than just your experience, absolutely, of course it is. It is proof that something is there. The difference between complete nonsense and real knowledge is total. The beauty of certain domains of human exploration, like engineering, martial arts, things that require actual real answers in real time, is that if you engage with any of those, you become acutely aware very quickly that either you put things properly and they work, or you don't. There's very few ways to build a rocket in a way that would actually reach space. Very few. And a lot has to go right, which means that you can't just do it by happenstance. Like, you just can't. There's something about knowledge that is a force in the universe that is very unique because it can mimic all the other laws of physics. And we are the kind of thing that can both appropriate, instantiate, understand, communicate, and act on the actual creation and appropriation of knowledge, which is very, very special. Have I ever heard of mass delusion? No, what's that? Please tell us. Jesus loves you 24/7. Sounds like a beginning of a loving conversation. What up, Jackie? Like how the American flag was horizontal rows of stars. Oh my God, okay, it's just another. I love you, Jackie, but I gotta put the Mandela effect to rest. I think we beat that point to the ground. Trying to go through you guys' comments a little bit faster. Nothing is like what you can see behind your head. Well, you can postulate what it is. What up, Digital Keith? You don't know that it's not there. Seabro is saying nothing is like what you see behind your head. It's just not there. No, you postulate it's not there. The postulation is already something. Jackie, because you can't conceptualize a nothing. You can't talk about a nothing. There's nothing you can do with nothing. Huh? Because I did hear a story about two people saying nerd. Okay, so it's more of that. I'm not being dismissive. I just we did a few lives about the Mandela effect, but you guys can go and check it out. I mean, I think I can't really talk about this too much more. Yeah. But truly, expressed with love, Jackie. You know I love you. Ooh, I love that. I don't even know if it makes sense I didn't allow my brain to analyze it yet, Digital Keith, but I just love the way it sounds. The rhythm of it is cool. Yesterday's weirdness is tomorrow's reasons why. Sorry, yesterday's weirdness is tomorrow's reason why. It's a really cool phrase. Funk Worm, thank you so much for reposting my live. I appreciate you. Reality exists in the eye of the observer and in reality. So I think it is extremely premature to make the assertions that modern spiritual people make, that reality only exists in your perception. Wrong, I say. Wrong, fellow travelers. It is wrong. It is incorrect to say that we know that. It is correct to say that we have strong reasons to suspect that. To say that it is the case is absurd. You do not know what real reality is doing. It might still be the case that real reality is actually completely devoid of meaning, means nothing, and you're just kind of hovering in the middle of infinity, and it means nothing to no one. That is still on the table. It's very uncomfortable, but we did not rule this out. Sorry. That is still might be the case. We operate not out of some, hankering towards the infinite knowledge of everything, even though it might be fun to postulate about, but what might be relevant to our horizon of relevance. What do we care about and why? And what things can we say with enough substance about? These things become very obvious when you have to make quick decisions that matter. This is why I was talking about engineering, UFC, things like this. If you think that, hey, anything's possible, and you're gonna step into the cage with a UFC fighter, you're gonna find out very quickly. Nah, not everything is possible. You're gonna find out very fast. It's just the nature of what's going on, right? There's a situation in which the level of training of the person in front of you, if it's an actual somebody who's like extremely trained, is so far beyond yours that it deserves the 100% accolade to say that there is zero chance you stand a chance. And to all the people that like to say things like, well, never say never, you mean 99.9999999% that there's no chance that he's going to win? No, 100%. One round 100% that you're going to be toast in 30 seconds. 100%. So the fact that there's all these mathematical and statistical tricks to convey some general concepts about reality does not mean that they apply in immediate instances of every single thing that you go through. And I think people forget that. And I think people forget that because we are now living in a world that's so comfortable that people are deluded to believe that what in fact would hit them in the face as the real world is not there. That's because there's such an enormous buffer of other people who put in the work to create an infrastructure that protects you from every single thing that humans have ever struggled with, that people who say things like this just like forgot that sometimes you can get punched in the face. And and I'm using these as like very concrete examples, but let's take something that is less violent and more productive. It's like, hey, if I tell you to write write me a software, even with, notice this, that even now that it's so much easier, right? Like with vibe coding, like you can just create apps with AIs. If you've never done it before, and I ask you to make me a simple app, just like a meditation app on your phone that gives you like just a clock that gongs at a particular time of the day and then gongs again in 60 minutes. Even that, like you try it now. If you've never done it before, try it now. See how not that easy it is to actually try and make something happen. And then you realize the difference between idealism, ideation of something, like what you think it is, versus what it really is, which is you needing to take the steps to actually make something happen. That's a very different ballgame. This is why I'm saying, at this point of the game, I think we've put enough on the table. I'm talking about as a humanity. We put enough on the table in terms of, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Did you hear about how that guy said this and that guy said that? Sure, it doesn't matter. What people say doesn't matter. It's like, can you do something with it? Can it actually come into action and make something happen? That's what matters. This is why even though obviously words are powerful and you can influence other people and all of that stuff, but even that is a form of art and a form of an attempt. If you have to sell something to someone, if you do, like, these are not easy tasks. Every time that you're trying to aim towards a goal, notice that the main tendency of reality is for things to not go the way you expected. And then you kind of have to error correct in the direction of whatever that is. What were we talking about? What up, pulp nonfiction? Yeah, it is hard to believe 2025 moves over. Yeah, I am aware of the delay. That's because we're in StreamYard. I can see the simulation, and it's a fractal pattern, mathematical, verifiable. Boom. Thank you, pulp nonfiction. 10 years went by in 5, I swear. I think about statistics as math after the fact. That's funny. I like it a lot. Thanks, Tom. Martial arts is hard and painful work. You can't master it in 1 week. Exactly. And you just find out that certain things are real and work and other things are not. And it's a really great reality check. What up, Terry? How you doing, brother? Vipassana tomorrow. Let's go, baby. I'm so excited for you, man. Makes me so happy every time I think about this. I am on a few lives. Jesus loves you 24/7. Thank you, Digital Keith. YouTube Dango Thoughts. On X, it's Goler Danny, and what you see here, Danny Goler. And Twitch, LaserX83 on Twitch, everybody. Super important. LaserX83. I said it right in 42 minutes. So you see. Oh, it's Hunter S. Thompson. That's why I was like, this thing has like an impeccable rhythm. There you go. I actually didn't even connect the dots. I don't remember that that's his quote. So thank you for sharing. Are you in two lives at the same time, partnering to the laser concept? You haven't considered that your mind might be possible to come up with things that aren't there. No, I have considered. And I also now know that your mind is capable of perceiving what is in fact there. You got it, AJ. Do you think the spirit molecule has raised your IQ? I don't think so. I think it raises your ability to allow yourself to evolve into greater potentials of yourself, sure. But I don't think it actually makes your IQ higher. Thanks, AJ. I appreciate it. Charlie is asking, assuming aliens from other planets are visiting Earth, why do you think they want to remain hidden? They don't want to pay taxes, bro. I mean, that's obvious. Sofa King is saying, quit my miserable job with no backup and bought an RV. But to let the wind take me where I land. Yes. That's amazing. That is amazing. Terry, I'm proud of you, man. That's amazing. I know you're gonna experience some magic. The second you fully let go, that's where everything happens. It's always taxes, bro. That's how it is. Like the second aliens announce themselves, be like, "Oh my God, there's aliens!" All right, fill out this W4. Or do you think aliens are self-employed? This W9. What up, Emily? Good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. What are my thoughts? What happens when we DIE? It's so confusing. I have no clue. I know that this is clearly not it. This is not everything. But do I know that we proceed in any reasonable capacity to talk about, as in like your perception of what this is continues? That I have no clue. I really don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Anti-gravity, that's not my wheelhouse, but it is Mark Sokol's, which I highly recommend you guys check out his stuff. We visited his incredible lab in New Jersey recently, Falcon Space, and he's working on this stuff pretty seriously. We also have Charlie over here, who's our CORE's official scientist and engineer. I guess you can say that. He's also working on anti-gravity, so he would probably have a lot more comments on this. And I mean, actually, Charlie, if you want to come on Discord and I can maybe ask you some questions about that. That would be great. I think it would interest a lot of people. God bless you as well. Jesus loves you 24/7. See, I knew it was the beginning of a loving conversation. You were trying to talk to me about the laser concept you came up with. Sure. I mean, the easiest thing, Jesus loves you 24/7, is for you to either come on and talk about it, not on text, but just like send in a request and I can bring you on. Or you can come join our Discord and do the same on our stage on Discord right now because it's open. You can find the Discord link in the link tree in the description on my page. Feel free to come on and ask questions. So is it safe to say in the end everything will be okay? I think so. My fear is something scary after well, I mean, it's a legitimate fear, I would say. My intuition is that everything is already okay, as in it's all taken care of. That's my very strong intuition. Mark Sokol and Charles. Wait, Charles, what is your last name? Charles is actually on our chat on YouTube right now, and he's always helping us out with so many things. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I was not looking at the comments on Discord. Apologies. Daniel saying step by step agreed upon, going for approximates. Yes, agreed. Is there such refinery that it will be calculated as close enough can be substantiated? Yes, we do this all the time, and the close enoughness, that's what calculus is. It's close enough. You assume the limit, and you understand that if you keep applying the rule, the ultimate result of it would be X, even though the whole way up to it is approximations. There you go, bringing Charles on. These substances don't boost your stats, but they facilitate undoing existing barriers that act as friction when accessing your talent and intelligence and creativity. I would fully agree with that. Charlie, how are you, brother?
Hello, I'm good. I got a few minutes.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Yeah, that's how you mentioning Mark Sokol. Yeah, I think we're successfully verified propulsion by some vacuum chamber testing in Falcon Space. And we do some more with that, though, but it's looking promising. Well, Charles Bueller from NASA and Jonathan Campbell, the type devices also from NASA, have kind of proposed that into 2 patents. And it's interesting to alternative propulsion. But for anti-gravity, I'm not sure about that. Maybe warp drive is another better name for how like UFOs might fly.
So there was this conversation. First of all, repeat again what you guys proved that you can do in vacuum?
Colorless propulsion.
Yeah.
Which means that it doesn't shoot anything out the other end to Newton's third law of motion.
Oh,
Sort of
Gauss
like,
Gauss
fixed
propulsion.
performance shoot.
Gauss propulsion. Is that what you said?
Propellantless propulsion.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. And how is that achieved?
We're not sure exactly the physics of it yet, but we basically ruled out ion wind. It's a asymmetrical capacitor that's charged with high voltage DC.
And it's not some known effect that just kind of plays a trick on us, like kind of like that guy that Carter was sharing his talk in our group. That was on Danny Jones. I forget his name, his physicist, and he was talking about Mark Sokol. And he kept on saying, this is all new engineering, but it's not new physics. So would you say that it's something beyond the physics we understand right now, or is it just clever engineering?
Yeah, there's different theories on the physics of why it works. Warp drive is one of them. That would still fit within the general relativity, but otherwise, propellantless propulsion might be ruled out by other effects. So it might be something completely new in physics needs to study.
Yeah, and this
try.
And okay, thank you so much. And then one point that the guy I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but the guy, he's a physicist. He was on Danny Jones recently, and he was mentioning Mark quite a bit. This is the conversation that Carter shared. I forget his name. Great conversation. I obviously very much align with this kind of thinking, and it's really funny because every time somebody aligns with this kind of a little bit more mainstream technical thinking, Danny always resists it, which I understand. He really loves the wilder things. But one of the points that I kept on bringing up as well, which is that what do even people mean by anti-gravity? Because ultimately you have magnetism, magnetic levitation. I mean, is that anti-gravity? Well, I think it wasn't fully doing justice to the real, what people are actually trying to get at. But I do think that outlining what that thing really is important. So if I'm not mistaken, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the holy grail of what or what real anti-gravity should be or is literally finding a way to cancel the force of gravity in a particular region of space and time where you choose it to do so, or even reverse it. That's basically what is meant by that, right?
Right, yeah, anti-gravity would mean you're creating an the negative 9 meters per second squared force of gravity and repelling kind of off of that. So there's different definitions. Then you get into like gravity modification, which might include gravity shielding, where you would surround something so it's not affected by the gravitational pull. But Dr. Matthew Staugis was talking, was professor who was talking, and I recently paid him to write a paper on Ard's parts, something promising.
Interesting.
Over the summer break. Yeah, so we're going to publish that later today. We also works with UAPX. They've been open-minded with UFO research.
Yeah, that's super interesting. How far would you say that in your personal work you took these things in your personal lab? Like, was there something that you managed to recreate in your lab that literally like made you stop in your tracks? Like you looked at it and you went, "Whoa!" Like, did that happen to you?
Oh, you want to add more to the answer to the previous question about what is anti-gravity? So like a balloon is not anti-gravity, because that uses buoyancy to float, and magnetic levitation isn't either, because it's pulling off a magnetic field. The track needs to be underneath it. So like a UFO is apparent anti-gravity because it's floating without any signs of propulsion.
And also,
so that's one theory that it's anti-gravity. It might be.
Yeah, and also
if it's like compressing space-time above it and expanding space-time below it.
Well, that's warp drive. I would say that's not anti-gravity either, because warp drive basically means literally taking the fabric of space-time itself, folding it somehow, and basically using it almost like a little like you're literally wiggling space-time itself, which I guess you can call it anti-gravity, but that's again, it's in the word, right? It has to be anti what gravity is, and what gravity is not fully understood, but we do know it's somehow a force in the universe that is exerted in some way, but it travels through space-time. So there's even some pretty elaborate but to some degree conclusive theoretical frameworks like Lisa Randall's that deals with how gravity behaves across universes. So, Lisa Randall famously solved this enormous problem that kind of solved a lot of other problems in physics. And the general gist of it is that she postulated, what if she asked the question, why is gravity so weak in comparison to other forces, right? It's a very known kind of trope example that people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and other scientist communicators always bring up, which is like, you have the entirety of Earth pulling on a pin, but you can take a tiny magnet and pull up the pin from the table. So in other words, this tiny magnet competes with the entirety of Earth and winning. And this is how it's designed to illustrate how weak whatever gravity is. And what she asked herself is like, why is it so weak? And then one of the answers that she came up with, and obviously she formalized it. It wasn't just like she thought it in her head, but she put it into equations, which is that what if gravity is not weak? What if it's just as strong? It is crossing between universes, and so it dilutes. It basically leaks out, so to speak. So she worked out the math, and it turns out that if you postulate a leak of gravity across universes through the 11th dimension, so there was some use of, M theory there, then you do have, like, you kind of solve the equation, like you solve the problem. And but then you would say, okay, well, then the behavior of gravity, whatever that is, we want to work out exactly what cancels that and why, versus saying I'm taking the manifold of space-time itself and folding it in some way for the physical entity that I am to move fast, to appear to move faster than light, even though I'm actually not. I'm just kind of folding space-time itself, which does not have does not have the problem of the speed limit of light, because space-time itself is not bound by the speed of light. It can actually move faster than the speed of light, exhibited by inflation itself. So all this is a mouthful, but would you feel free to just say, no, Danny, you're completely wrong, and here's why. I would love to hear it. But like, is it not true to say what I'm saying? Is like, is warp drive technically not anti-gravity?
You're right. Warp drive is an anti-gravity, so it's a different force that would fit in within Newton's laws. That's an interesting theory about gravity being strong, but just leaking into different dimensions. I haven't heard that one, but yeah, I think
Lisa Randall.
Like the four fundamental forces: that strong force, weak force, electromagnetism, and gravity. And some speculate because the Big Bang, if everything was combined into one at one point, then we could modify gravity with electromagnetism. So we're kind of focusing on.
So, but to my other question, and if you don't want to answer, that's totally okay. But I'm just wondering, like, because it is kind of like one of these, especially with people that work in these like wild exploration fields like yourself, it must be kind of like the moment that really makes everything worth it. Did you have something like that or close to that, which is like, you like there, kind of like, like an 80s movie where you're just like, you're there in the basement in the middle of the night and all of a sudden something happens and you go, holy, whoa. Like, you just like, it just like blows your mind. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, Matthew said August when I was there like last year. We'd heard rumors of propellantless propulsion in vacuum chambers because, like you mentioned, ion wind was one discussion around it that was affecting why some people were seeing thrust. So they speculated the air molecules were the propellant is just being charged and pushed in the opposite direction. But when we tested a vacuum chamber, we ruled out the ion wind because we were in a high vacuum, 10 to -7 torr. So some others from NASA have verified that as we just want to confirm it. So when we saw that, we were pretty convinced that they were.
So that's really interesting. You mentioning ion. First of all, thank you for sharing. It's really interesting you mentioning ion wind because just today, my wife reminded me that one of the last hints that we kind of started getting, in the same way that we started getting hints when we discovered the laser a few years ago, and it felt just as significant, was something around this whole, she had a dream and it kind of connected to this whole thing about some kind of a circular engine, and it had specifically had to do with ion emission engine. It's really interesting. Today we were talking about this, and then I actually sent Mark some of the hints that appeared because he just texted me right at the same time, and they're kind of incoherent because it's just kind of, how it goes. Like when you in this like frantic stage of just like kind of gathering information from the universe in this like semi-manic state in which you're kind of receiving information, you don't stop to check in and put everything into like a well-formulated bin. You just kind of go with it, right? So it stayed in that stage, and only today I was revisiting it. So I'm now in the process of trying to arrange my thoughts around it and putting it into some frame that maybe makes sense. But if you want, I will share the images that we took of the Google searches that we had, because there might be something interesting there that your brain might click with better than my brain can click with it currently. But I'll warn you right away, because there's also some stuff there that is just kind of like, it feels like outside of the purview of science. It's just kind of like these weird, in addition to some stuff that has to do with more technical things and engines and things like this, some hints include some formulation of, some like particular shapes that sit in a particular way and the relationships they exhibit with particular other geometries and circles, and even the Hebrew language, and some even occult stuff, like some weird stuff all to kind of mesh together. But if you want, I'll send it to you. And if anything, jiggles there and you think, oh, this is interesting, I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Okay, yeah, please send it. I think there's something there, and you had some success with synchronicity, so definitely check into it. But I know you mentioned EVO too, and you like, why are you bringing up EVO? I remember discussion, you're like, oh, I accidentally clicked on that link, but actually, I think there's something also with EVOs, exotic vacuum objects, and like ball lightning video you had shared is related. So I'm currently studying that kind of as my research and PhD in electrical engineering.
Okay, so I'll definitely send it to you. It just happens to be the comment that my brain landed on as I looked at the entire page. So don't be disgruntled if I skipped a bunch. I'll go back. Very software saying, when studying physics and specifically relativity, I had the intuition that perhaps gravity is not a force, but a property of geometry. Yeah, I mean, that's according to GR, that's what it is. According to general relativity, that's what gravity is the curvature of space. But that's according to that model. That it kind of breaks down in other portions of, like when you get to the very extreme, it kind of it starts being weird.
Yeah, and to bring it back to the core, I think there's synchronicity there. That's what originally interested me about the code reality. Thought if we could figure out the code or understand it more, we can understand gravity, maybe use it as a tool to measure or see effects going on in our environment.
Yeah, I think in this particular case, my brain kind of disengaged a little bit when I saw it for the first time, because I was like, dude, that means I'm going to have to start postulating about this stuff seriously. And I tend to not be as excited about that as I am excited about trying to connect it to something super fun and technical. But when it comes to like, well, what is it this like weird diagram has to do with it? It's like, oh man, come on. Like, do I really have to go dig through that? And my brain kind of gets into this like resistance mode, but maybe I need to shake that off, because it seems like there's something there. My wife definitely said it felt just as significant as the day that we figured out the laser, when she had that day. Like, I was like, okay, well, I guess we got to look there. So I'm gonna get back on that horse, and I'm gonna send you the saddle, where I guess whatever metaphor works here.
Nice.
Okay, amazing, guys. I apologize. I'm gonna have to jump off just because food is ready and the family is waiting. I appreciate you deeply. Thank you so much, everybody. If you guys, just a couple of announcements. Charles, thank you so much, but I'm gonna send you all the stuff. Charles, everybody, the Core's official scientist and engineer. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Okay. If you guys want to follow me across platforms, it'll be Danny Goler on TikTok and Instagram. It'll be Goler Danny on X. Just flip it. It'll be LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come join the membership program on YouTube. It's not expensive at all. It helps the channel tremendously, and you get early access to all my content. You get access to our weekly lives for members only, aside from the daily lives, in which we dive much deeper into topics. We talk about things we watch videos. We're not as limited there. If you join from the second tier and up, that's all. You can email me on the email that is listed there, and I will send you an invite for monthly Zoom calls. All of this is on YouTube for anybody who missed it. Dango Thoughts, Dango Thoughts. You can also check out my new show on Spotify, 0 to 1 with Danny Goller, from Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens. Again, 0 to 1 with Danny Goller, from Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens. Check out our and check out the merch also on YouTube. That definitely makes a huge difference. I appreciate everybody who are ordering. It really makes a huge difference. We have 2 series of merch right now. All the different items, from shirts and mugs and things like this. We have the Human First, which I really like myself, which just basically communicates that we should treat each other as humans first, before our political affiliations, ideas about reality. We are humans, and we should treat each other and the other things in existence in a humane way. That's what it means. You can also check out the Core series, Code of Reality series there, and it helps the channel tremendously. Also check out our website, codeofreality.com, in which you both have, what is this? Oh, in which you both, okay. There's a lot of things happening all at once. There's in which you can find the lasers and the protocols, and also some merch. It's a lot of fun. What up, Ellipsian? Good to see you. Much love, Terry. Good luck with Vipassana. Sending you much love. Can't wait to hear how it went, and also about your new adventures. And if you still want to donate to the film that is now in post-production, full swing, and it's going to be ready by the end of the year, the film is going to be incredible, and it's going to be bomb. If you want to still donate to the film in the post-production process, you can do so. Find the trailer of the movie on my channel, Dango Thoughts, on YouTube, Dango Thoughts, and find the trailer called The Discovery. In the description of the video, you will find the GoFundMe page where you can contribute. If you donate over $1,000, which, yes, it's a lot, but if you do, you will be added to a group of people who would 100% see the movie for the first time ever, all together, world premiere. I think that's pretty dope. If you can't, of course, do not worry about it. You will see the film. We're going to make sure that it arrives across the globe, probably also in translations and things like this. What am I forgetting? First of all, I want to acknowledge our incredible moderator, Guru Augie. Thank you so much, my brother. And it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Guru. Thank you, brother. That's amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much for always being here, always being on top of it, always helping out. Never skips a beat, man. You're amazing. And making us really feel good about all the daily drinks that you're telling us that you're drinking. Thank you so much for our audience. If you're an old listener or new listener, you're the ones actually making this channel possible and what it is. I really appreciate you all for coming, sharing ideas, exchanging notes. It's a lot of fun to do, especially when we debate, and it gets fun and spicy, and it's awesome. Okay. What am I forgetting? I think I covered everything. Appreciate you guys. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Ciao. Good night, everyone.